Spring break. It's a time that college students look forward to all year. A time when you can leave your classes, your campus, and your lives for 1 week, and let's face it, we party. But some people, like our guest here today, use their spring break to help others who are in desperate need of it. James Savage, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell me where you went on your spring break.
Well, I and a group of 11 more people went to Guatemala to serve at an orphanage for kids who either go to school there or have been sent there because of abuse or abandonment.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you heard stories of friends going to the beach and going to other places. What made you decide this is where you wanted to go?
Well, I had heard about people going through the Wesley Foundation, and my first reaction was that it's a lot of money and it's kind of a third world country. That's really not my kind of thing. But a lot of people encouraged me to keep on going and saying how much of a good experience it was. And then I kind of got into the realization that it really wasn't that much far-fetched of an idea. It's just going to a different place and sharing the love of Jesus, which doesn't sound too far from what my calling is. So that was kind of my turning point in saying, well, this sounds like something I want to do.
What orphanage did you go to?
It was called Lucinda, which translates to the way. There's about 25 children who live there. Like I said, most of them have been abandoned or abused and been sent there. And during the 5 days, Monday through Friday, they have a school there, which stems to, they would call it middle school, but till 9th grade. And they teach things like regular subjects like math and language arts and Spanish and English. The kids who lived there were all fluent in Spanish and English, but the kids who came during the school day only spoke Spanish. So at that time we had translators. But the kids that were there during the orphanage spoke English, so we were able to talk to them very easily.
What kind of condition were these orphanages in?
Well, this one was kind of more of where the lucky kids got to go. It was run by two people who were missionaries from America who have pretty well funding, but it wasn't the poverty that a lot of the kids came from. They were able to kind of go here as a better place to be. It was very clean. They had running water, they had toilets, they had refrigerators, and they had plenty of food when they needed it. The only thing is that there was only a few amount of people running it, so part of a lot of our job was to do things that they really didn't have time to do. Like some kids didn't have doors, they just had curtains, so we had to do things like that, and a lot of painting needed to be done and some construction. But for the most part, the kids that got to go to this particular orphanage were the kids that were lucky.
Okay. Now I see that you brought some pictures here.
Yes, I did.
Show us those. Explain those to us.
Well, this one, this is Antigua. We were in the city of Simpango, which is a very poor city. But this is Antigua, kind of the more touristy place that we're at. We went there for 1 day to kind of see what the kind of upper side of the society was in contrast to where we were. But in these pictures here, this is kind of the construction we did. Like the boys and girls bathrooms didn't actually have any doors, so we built doors for them. If you see in this picture down here, this is Lindsay Wages holding one of the orphanage kids named Edgardo, and Joe Walden was in the background. He
looks like a homeless guy. I think we've had him on a segment here before. Joe.
Yeah. Joe had a really good time. He worked really well. He bought that hat in Guatemala, which if you ever see him around, he's very proud of his hat. This right here is the chicken that they kept on campus. That's where they got all their eggs from, which is kind of interesting, kind of very different from our American tradition. And down here in the green is Giovanni. He's been there the longest. He's 14. He's the one, they got him almost right after he was born, so he's kind of the leader of all the kids. I would call them parents. They all call the leaders mom and dad, but the leaders kind of respect him enough to be able to let him be in control of a lot of kids a lot of times.
Okay. Well, I noticed that there was a volcano. Were you scared that it was active? Were you scared it was going to erupt? Or?
Well, I actually didn't know very much about the volcano, but Lindsay Wages one night when she was sleeping, she said that she felt the tremor or something, but no one really knew whether she did or if she was dreaming. But the next day, we were going to Antigua and going to a vegetable market, and we saw the volcano smoking a couple hundred feet in the air. My first reaction, I've never seen a volcano, so I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to all die from lava. But it just, it smokes about once a week. But it was kind of exciting, nerve-wracking, because it's supposed to erupt about every 25 years.
Oh, gosh.
And it had not erupted in the past 30.
Oh,
so.
gosh.
But we made it safely. We were
It was
okay.
kind of exciting.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit what it was like when you first stepped foot over there. What was your initial reaction?
Well, I was very kind of apprehensive because I've never been in a situation like that. So I was excited. When we first got onto the airport was very new. It was not just kind of someplace in the middle of nowhere. It looked like something you'd see in America. And then when we were walking out, there were all the Guatemalan people waiting for their families or waiting for their friends. They were all holding their signs. A lot of them were in English, like, say, South Parking is over here. There's a shuttle to Rena Center here. Then I saw one sign that just said Mike. And I hope Mike found his thing. I thought that was a little vague. But we got outside, and the first four things I saw was a Burger King, a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, and a Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
Which was not the culture shock that I was expecting at all. But that was in Guatemala City, and it was about a 25-minute drive to Santango. And as we started driving there, it got very much more, you could see more poverty. All the buildings the painting was very old. There was a lot of just kind of one-person markets, and the niceness of the city really wore off very quickly. It was interesting. A lot of the police officers, probably about 50 to 70% of the police officers all carried their own shotguns instead of pistols, which was different at first. But I don't feel like it was ever any threatening or anything, just something different. But definitely the further that we got away from Guatemala City, the much more poverty was seen. A lot of houses were built just from cinder blocks and pieces of scrap tin, and that was kind of where a lot of the people lived.
A little less out of your comfort zone.
Yes, yeah, a lot different than America.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you've made some amazing memories. I'm sure they'll last with you forever, and you did a lot of good work. So thanks for being here with us today.
Much.
I enjoyed it. And if you stay with us, we will have Dustin Sweetelson in The Poor Man's Chef.